There's a lot for parents to think about when kids are heading back to school, and you probably don't think twice about their backpack and what it could be doing to their health. Doctors at Henry Ford Health say many kids are returning to the classroom with backpacks that are just too heavy or are poorly fitted. So we did want to get some advice from the experts, and joining me now is Dr. Kevin Taliaferro, close, an orthopedic surgeon with Henry Ford Health, and of course you've got that voice. I just want to lean in and listen because we were talking about health and safety, and when it comes to backpacks, I mean, mine used to be loaded. I was like leaning forward all the time.
Yeah, I mean, gone are the days of 40-pound backpacks, but there are, some kids unfortunately still have to wear them. But I think it's a really important thing that parents need to kind of take a look at.
So what should we be looking at when it comes to making sure that the backpack is right for your child and is also fitted correctly?
Two things I think is important is the backpack needs to be the size for the child.
Okay.
We wear a lot of adult backpacks on kids' bodies, and that's not what they're designed for, right? So a smaller child needs a smaller backpack. And it's also what's in the backpack. Kids should only have about 10 to 15% of their body weight in their backpack at any time. And when you combine those two, sometimes larger backpacks lead to more stuff, and that puts a lot of weight on the kid's spine.
And so when you were how much would you say is in that backpack right now?
Probably about 15, 20 pounds.
15 to 20 pounds. Okay, so that might be like a middle schooler then?
Yeah, about a 100-pound kid, so a good-sized middle schooler, that's the maximum that they should be wearing.
So not to date myself, but back in the day, we had these big textbooks, and they were very heavy. Sometimes you'd be carrying them, and they'd be in your backpack. Kids don't necessarily have that problem.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about digitalization of information is a lot of kids now have access to many books on one device.
Sure.
Right? And that's going to lower the weight, obviously, but not every school system has that. And so I agree. I'm from that era with a 50-pound history textbook that we had to lug around all day. But I think it's really important to know that those kids shouldn't be carrying that much.
Okay. And for parents who are watching this, can we show anything with the backpack? Like, how do we make sure it's safe for your kid?
Yeah, it's not only that the backpack should be the size of the child, but how you distribute the weight, right? The core of the body is the spine, and we want to move the heavier things up front. And so when you see a kid that has a whole bunch of books, the bigger stuff needs to go closer to the back and then stagger it as you go out. So you want it kind of looking like a slope, not a huge brick.
Got you. Yeah. I just went mountain climbing. I could have used some of this advice because my backpack was way too heavy. I think my back's still hurting from it.
That does happen.
What are some of the most common mistakes you see when it comes to, especially this time of year, back to school? It's exciting, but we might overlook some things.
Yeah, I think especially right now, kids are getting a whole bunch of stuff and they take it home with them.
Yeah.
I think in my family, what we do is we try to get everything out every night because, you get that thing where it kind of compacts down to the bottom and they have all their books. And that's just 5 extra pounds right there. So really trying to make sure that your kid is participating in it and getting the unnecessary stuff out of it.
And what are you seeing as a doctor?
I see a lot of kids hunched over with a lot of weight on their back. They look kind of like Sherpas going up a mountain, and you're like, that's way too much. If a kid is not able to stand up correctly, that's no matter what the weight is, it's just way too much stress on their low back.
Okay, so then you're kind of looking at their posture as a way to gauge it.
Yeah.
And the way the straps fall on the body, is there anything with that you could make sure? Or?
Yeah, you want 2 well-padded straps with them cinched up to the middle of the back so the weight's distributed.
That's not cool. You want it like low-lying. Right?
Exactly.
That's not good.
If you're able to tell a teenager what to do, you may be up for the Nobel Prize. But I try to tell them that it's not cool. But there's no study to say that truly gives you back pain.
Okay.
But at the same time, we know from physics that getting a center of mass with all the back on, all the stress on the middle of the back is the way to carry it. But once again, teenagers will be teenagers. So.
How concerned are you?
When I sit in car line with my kids and I see a lot of these kids carrying, a cello and 16 books and they don't have a locker, it really concerns me because that's a lot of stress. And it's not just one day, it's over the school year.
Right, exactly.
And so we find that 35% of kids experience back pain at some point during the school year, and that can lead to missed time, missed sporting athletics, and that's really concerning. Kids should not be having back pain that early.
And I guess it's not something we think about as much. Like, I never thought about the weight of my backpack.
Never. And that's the nice thing about science is it keeps going forward. But I think, now we know a little bit more, and I think we're trying to, intercede and, make these kids a little healthier.
What would your final takeaway be for anybody who's watching?
Try to limit the amount of weight that your kid is carrying constantly. If you have access to lockers, try to use them as much as possible, and involving, all the stakeholders, the kids, the teachers,
Sure.
everybody involved, and you can, work on having a healthier back throughout our lives.
I think the one key that I'm going to keep in mind for myself is to clear it out.
Yeah.
So you see what's on the bottom. 'Cause
Yeah.
You just forget.
You do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All those reports with A's on them.
Exactly.
They got to go in the fridge.
Exactly.
Thanks, Doc, for joining us.
problem.
Appreciate it.